To Matt Black Kia.
6/5/2022.
Matt Black Kia. 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. And now on Route 37 in Toms River.
With all the sports we have, every time of the year is the best time of the year.
And the crowd just buzzing with excitement.
On 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig here on a Hump Day Wednesday edition of Game Night. What a wild first game of the conference finals last night. We got hockey in the mix as well this week. I'm really looking forward to that Oilers-Flames series in the NHL tonight. Warriors and Mavs. You can hear it. Coverage begins at 8:30 p.m. right here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Eagles made a big move today. We'll get into that and more with Dave Weinberg for an edition of Weinberg Wednesday, 97.3 ESPN.com sports columnist. He'll join us coming up in about a little less than 20 minutes from now. You can join the conversation at 609-403-0973 is the text board. And you can also DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. We got to get, I can't go any, look, as amazing as the basketball game was last night, and as much I was annoyed with the Phillies last night, I got to start with the Eagles news because I never expected this to happen. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. My working assumption was that James Bradberry, who was being cut by the Giants because they didn't want to, they couldn't afford to pay him, basically. They chose to cut him and move on from his contract. They said, okay, James, can't pay you. You don't want to get a pay cut. Get out of here. My assumption all along was that Bradberry was the highest bidder on the open market. Well, I was wrong. Bradberry apparently was more interested in the team he went to than he was just the money. Because according to Adam Schefter, there were ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter, there were 11 teams interested in Bradberry. And then Bradberry narrowed it down to 3. And the Eagles were one of those 3, and he chose the Eagles. And his contract with the Eagles, let's be realistic, his contract with the Eagles is below market value. All right? You're talking about a guy in Bradberry who is not even old. Okay? It's not like you're getting another 30-some-year-old dude. He turns 29 later this year. He's still in the prime of his career. He's younger than Stephon Gilmore by 2.5 years, basically. So you're getting a guy who's going to be across from Slay, who's even younger than Slay is. Now, I understand it's only a 1-year deal. So, you know, there is some speculation that that deal, you know, is him basically trying to leverage himself to do more next year. But here's 2 things to keep in mind. Bradberry is getting $2 million from the Giants, okay? Because there was still some dead money on the Giants' books because they cut him to save money. So he's still getting $2 million from the Giants. And then the idea was that, you know, he had a cap number last year of $10.5 million. The Eagles are paying him a guaranteed $7.5 million. He can make a maximum of 10. So he's getting 10 potentially from the Eagles, 2 from the Giants, and then that's almost what his market value would have been. So you take the base salary with the incentives, with the Giants' money, and he basically said, look, I'm going to make close to what I'm worth anyway. So he said, I'm not going to go for the biggest money. I'm not going to be J.C. Jackson and try to break the bank and set the market and go crazy, folks. He said, listen, I'm going to go to where I want to go to. And yeah, money may have something to do with it, but I think that he wanted to stay in the NFC East. He wants to play against the Giants twice a year. I think that he's a guy who says, look, I get to go against Daniel Jones and Carson Wentz twice a year. It's not a bad deal. And Dak Prescott and the Cowboys are not as good as they used to be. So now you have an Eagles team that has the best cornerback tandem in the division. This may be now on paper, one of the 10, 12 best defenses in the NFL? When you do that, it takes a lot of pressure off of your offense. An offense that, by the way, has had a massive upgrade thanks to the trade for A.J. Brown. So the Eagles went from being the team that was, they're better than last year. I don't believe in their secondary, though, to you got the corners, you improved the linebacker position. Your D line has always been a strength. Your offensive line has always been a strength. You improve the wide receivers. And now, when you compare the Eagles to their division, look at every position that is not quarterback for a moment. The Eagles are the best O-line in the division, okay? Certainly better than the Cowboys. Cowboys on paper have the better running back, but Elliott's getting old, right? I have more faith in Saquon Barkley's upcoming season to play well than I do Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, I would take any of the running backs in Washington potentially over Elliott because of the fact that I think that he's kind of at that point in his career, Elliott, where you're starting to wonder when are the wheels going to fall off. Listen, I think Elliott, when he was great, was great. The guy led the league in rushing twice for a reason. But don't let the stats fool you. It's not all about the numbers. It's about watching the guy. And you can tell as he is going to be 27 this upcoming season, his body just doesn't look the same. When he hits the hole, when he runs around the corner, it's not the same guy. Not saying he can't still have some great games, but he's rushed for a total of over 1,900 yards the last 2 seasons combined. And when you see his receiving numbers, they're nothing exceptional. It's not like he's, evolved himself into this great pass catcher either. In fact, he's catching less balls now than he was previously. Now, maybe that'll change this upcoming season because Dallas took a huge hit on the receiver. No Amari Cooper, no more Cedric Wilson to fill the void if Michael Gallup or someone else gets injured. The Cowboys are basically Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Elliott, Schultz, and then fill in the blanks after that. I got to tell you, I like Dallas Goedert better than Schultz. I like A.J. Brown better than Gallup. I like Devonta Smith better than Gallup. CeeDee Lamb, I think, is a phenomenal talent, and I think that he's better than Smith right now, but I think Smith has a higher upside because I think the problem with CeeDee Lamb is he came into the NFL kind of already what he's going to be. I think Smith still has a ways to go physically because CeeDee Lamb came to the NFL physically more mature. Like his body was more developed than Smith. I think Smith still has a chance to build up his physiology a little more. Look at the defense. The only team I think has a better D-line than the Eagles is Washington. And Washington may have the best D-line in the NFL. Eagles linebackers are way better than they were last year. And you can make the argument that that group now is better than the Giants. Not better than the Cowboys exactly, but at least they're not abysmally less. Eagles corner combination is definitely the best in the division, in my opinion. So Bradberry changes the what if question and turns this into a more complete football team. I think if you are being honest, I think that the Eagles should be the favorites to win the NFC East. I think the Cowboys took a huge, huge step back from last year to this year. I think that the Giants will be better than last year, but their quarterback will probably still hold them back. I don't believe in if Daniel Jones plays well, it's because Brian Daboll morphed him into a monster. Okay? Let's be realistic. If Brian Daboll turns Daniel Jones into some really good quarterback, the guy should be coach of the year on just that alone. It's ridiculous. But with that being said, look, the Eagles have a better quarterback than the Giants. The Eagles have a better offensive line than the Cowboys. The Eagles have a better secondary with Bradberry and Slay out there than Washington does. Washington has the best D-line. The Eagles have the best O-line. This is going to be a very interesting situation because every team has a massive flaw except for the Eagles. Now, I know some of you out there may text in at 609-403-0973 or DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Some of you may turn to me and say, well, Josh, the flaw is Jalen Hurts. And I understand there's some of you out there that no matter what I say, you are always going to look at Jalen Hurts as this lesser than quarterback. But as I mentioned on the Sports Back with Mike Gill earlier today, there's one thing about Jalen Hurts that you can't deny, even the Hurts haters and deniers. His teammates believe in him. His teammates think that he is a winning NFL quarterback. They know what he's capable of. They want to play with him and for him. Okay? So you may not believe in Jalen Hurts, but his teammates do. And we already saw in Philadelphia the difference between a guy that the players believe in and then the guy that the players know he's good, but they don't really care for him. The Eagle players loved Nick Foles. They understood Carson Wentz had talent, but they loved Nick Foles. They played for Nick Foles. Donovan McNabb is arguably the best quarterback in Eagles franchise history. But one of the reasons why Jeff Garcia had success during that run, the players rallied around him. The players got behind him. That's a big part of these conversations that we don't have. We get so bent as media analysts with microphones and websites and Twitter accounts, and fans get so bent, with their season tickets and their jerseys in their closets about some things that just don't matter sometimes. We could point out all the stats we want. We could point out all the, things that we can measure we want. Leadership and intangibles are more important at this level than almost anything because everyone has talent. When you're a professional athlete, everyone has talent. Everyone has ability. Everyone can play this game. I remember sitting down with Freddie Mitchell a couple of years ago, and he was telling me, he said, man, the difference between guys in the NFL is upstairs. It's not physically. Because Freddie was telling me, he's like, everyone's got talent in the NFL. Everyone is physically able to be great. But some guys just have something to their mindset, their ability to turn on that switch. Because he was telling me, he's like, the thing that made T.O. was that Terrell Owens wanted it more than you. That's what makes great players. So you may not think Jalen Hurts can do X, Y, Z, but his teammates do. And if his teammates believe in him, then that's the key. You know what the problem in New York is? The GM believed in Daniel Jones. No one else did. All right? Washington is on what, their fourth, fifth quarterback in the last few years with Ron Rivera. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick got injured and Taylor Heineke has been playing and Alex Smith got injured and now you got Carson Wentz. There's no stability there. In Dallas, let's be realistic. The Cowboys owner acts more like Vince McMahon than he does a responsible NFL owner. Jerry Jones loves the attention that comes with owning the Cowboys more than he loves actually winning. Jerry Jones can say all he wants, that he wants to win a Super Bowl. But the reality is that his actions say something different. Because the Cowboys perpetually make at least one bad move every offseason ever since Jerry ran Jimmy Johnson out of town. From about 95, 96 to today, every offseason, the Cowboys do at least one thing that is what dooms them the next season. I don't think that's a coincidence. All right, we'll get to you guys' thoughts and comments a little bit later in the hour. The text board is open at 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Coming up on the other side, it's a Weinberg Wednesday. Dave Weinberg joins me for this week's edition here on Game Night with me, Josh Hennig, on 973 ESPN.
The NBA playoffs continue on ESPN Radio.
Shoots for three and hits again. Luka Doncic.
It's game one of the Western Conference Finals. Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavs are off to San Francisco to go head-to-head with Steph, Clay, and the Golden State Warriors.
Launches for three and hits, and that's where the Warriors kill you.
Game one of the Warriors and Mavs. Coverage begins tonight at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Listen to the NBA playoffs exclusively on 97.3 ESPN.
East Coast Roofing and Siding, protecting what you love and own. East Coast Roofing and Siding, trust us with your family and home.
Hey there, South Jersey. This is Sean Steitler with East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows. Do you have a home project you've been pushing off? Does your house need a facelift? If so, you need to take advantage of our Economic Relief Rebate Program. For a limited time, we are offering no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus, when the job is complete, we will send you a rebate check for up to 15% of the cost. No payments until 2023 and money back in your pocket? You can't beat this deal. Call us today to schedule your free consultation. 609-625-1900. That's 609-625-1900. You can also visit our website at eastcoastroofing.com for more information.
East Coast Roofing and Siding, trust us with your family and home.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Spilled your milkshake? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading Ordinary brand. So you can get back to your milkshake.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
With GMF financing approved credit excludes Corvette. This just in. Right now, Bennett Chevrolet is paying a minimum $8,000 for any trade. That's at least $8,000 for any trade, running or not. Bennett is doing it again. Want $8,000 for that old rotted out rat trap? Just drive it, push it, tow it to Bennett Chevrolet for a minimum $8,000 towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. Got a good trade? Well, if we're paying a minimum $8,000 for total junk, imagine how much more you'll get for a good quality trade. Looking for new? There's there's no beating Bennett. Because unlike other dealers, we're not selling over factory sticker. And there's 0% available financing. Plus, if you're stuck in a lease, bring it to Bennett. We can get you out early. Any make, any model. And remember, Bennett will buy yours even if you don't buy ours. Stop in for a quick quote. No pressure or obligation. Because our non-commissioned sales staff is paid based on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Find new roads at Bennett Chevrolet, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
The NFC East just got a lot more interesting today after, as I mentioned earlier, I never expected Howie Roseman to be able to make this move. I didn't. I really thought that this was never going to happen for the Eagles. I had thought that Bradberry was to go to the highest bidder, and that would be it. And instead, we're in a situation where instead the Eagles arguably may have their best cornerback tandem since, well, let's ask someone who's seen a lot of Eagles cornerback tandems. Dave Weinberg joins us on the edition of Weinberg Wednesday here on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, how surprised are you that James Bradberry is an Eagle?
Pretty surprised, Josh. I'm with you. I thought that he would go to the highest bidder. I thought he'd be going somewhere else, but the fact that, for whatever reason, I guess he just thinks the Eagles are a better fit for him. And that's a really nice pickup for the Eagles. That really makes them that much stronger on defense. That's for sure.
I mean, let's be realistic. The Eagles have made some sketchy decisions over the years when it comes to anything that's not the D line and the O line, right? So,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, this is the best cornerbacks tandem since what? Asani Samuel and Sheldon Brown?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. I mean, they've gone through a few, Byron Maxwell, a couple other guys that,
Harry Williams.
That we've talked about before. I would say that Asante and Sheldon is probably the best. And just because that's been so long ago, that gives you an idea of how many mistakes they've made. But I think they, on paper at least, it seems like they finally got it right.
Do you think the Eagles should now be the favorites in the NFC East?
Yes. I don't think much of the division as a whole, but I would say they should probably be favored to win. Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time making those kind of predictions because of on paper, yes, but there's a lot of stuff that could go wrong. But yeah, I mean, when you look at the lineup now, you look at the depth chart, then I would say yes, they deserve to be the favorites.
Yeah, because to me, part of the thing people aren't talking about, Dave, is the fact that the Cowboys didn't fill their needs. The Cowboys lost 2 receivers, didn't really replace them. The guy they drafted on the O-line, I mean, the guy's got a bigger mouth than he's got a game. Let's be realistic. He sounds good on a press conference, which is what Jerry Jones loves.
Right.
They didn't replace Randy Gregory on the pass rushing side, and their secondary is pretty much the same. So it's like, and I personally think Mike McCarthy is completely overrated as an NFL head coach. So to me, if the Cowboys regressed and Washington is marginally better, the Giants have a competent head coach, but I don't know what that fully means for them. To me, the Eagles did the one thing the rest of the teams didn't do. They addressed almost every need that they had, did all the check marks, and the rest of the division didn't do that to me.
Yeah, they pretty much did. I mean, there's still some holes there. I'm not still sold on the safeties. I can't believe they haven't brought a punter in yet. Because that guy was atrocious last year. And
now you sound like Pete Thompson.
Oh yeah. Return game is pretty suspect still also. But yeah, I mean, you look at around the rest of the division, and you're right. The other teams didn't really make that drastic improvements, and figurative, or at least on paper, the Eagles did. I mean, they upgraded their pass rush with Hassan Reddick, upgraded their linebacker core. Offensive line is a little bit stronger, I guess. So yeah, I mean, it's still strong, I should say. So yeah, I would think that the Eagles went into the offseason looking to upgrade in several positions, and they did that.
When you think about what this defense has added, Dave, Bradberry at corner, Hassan Reddick as a pass rusher, White and Dean, one in free agency, one in the draft at linebacker, Jordan Davis on the D line. What do you think is a fair expectation for this defense?
Well, they were pretty bad last year, I think. So I think they'll be better. There's some question marks there, though, Josh. I mean, Fletcher Cox did not have a good year last year, and he's not any younger. I honestly thought they would maybe trade him. Brandon Graham is coming back, which is great, but he's not getting any younger as well. There's not much tread left on those tires, I don't think. I'm still not sold on the linebackers yet. I mean, I think I will be, but I'm not quite there. Secondary, I just can't get past those safeties. I just don't. I'm kind of surprised that they're going to what they're going with Harris and Epps. Maybe Kevon Wallace will turn out to be the guy they thought he was when they drafted him. They have the potential to be very good, but I'm just going to withhold judgment until I actually see how it all unfolds.
That's very fair. Dave Weinberg, edition of Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN, at Dave Weinberg 19 on Twitter. Extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. You know, one more thing on the football side, Dave, and I wonder what you think about this. You know, I think that this upcoming season is not just going to be interesting because of who the Eagles added and didn't add and all that stuff, but because also the fact that you look around the NFL, let's be realistic. It feels like more than half the league can go to the postseason this year. And I'm not saying that benefits or hurts the Eagles, but I think that this is just going to be a very competitive NFL season because the Jags will be better than last year. The Lions will be better than last year. The only team that was bad last year that's going to be the same or worse to me is the Texans. Like, to me, every team in the NFL on some level is either about the same or got better.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot. I mean, the NFL always strives for parity, and I think you're going to see that this year. You're right. There's a lot of teams that improve themselves. Some teams maybe got a little bit worse or not quite as dominant as they were in the past. So yeah, there's I guess you can still point to some elite teams, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, now that Brady's coming back again. But even those, I think the Chargers are going to be pretty good. Rams, of course. So but you look around and there's nobody that's kind of like an odds-on favorite or runaway dominant team that's just going to run through everything. And the Eagles are right there with everybody else. Avoid injuries. Hope that your additions pay off, and who knows, they could get a home playoff game, maybe even win one. I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders yet, but I mean, like you said, there's nobody that's really a clear-cut favorite, so who knows?
Yeah, I'm not saying a Super Bowl contenders. I'm just saying that I feel like in a league that 14 teams make the postseason, I just feel like you can make an argument for 21 teams to make the playoffs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I was listening. I read something today about how one so-called expert thought that Jalen Hurts has to win a playoff game this year in order to keep his job. I just think that's just ludicrous. I mean, I don't know why someone would put that out there. So many things can go wrong that have nothing to do with him. He could have a fantastic season and they wind up losing one. So does that mean he doesn't come back? I just think that was so stupid.
Well, Dave, I said it before you came on. And I'm not saying they're one and the same, but I'm starting to feel about Hurts, something that you've discussed about Nick Foles, in that the players in the locker room believe in him. And it's like, yeah, there might be somebody out there with more talent than Jalen Hurts per se, right? But at the end of the day, talent doesn't matter if you can't use the talent on the field and the players around you don't believe in you. You know, Nick Foles was successful because it felt like the entire locker room was playing for him at times. You know,
right.
Always back in my head, Dick Vermeil saying we're going to rally around Kurt Warner and we're going to win games. If players believe in the quarterback, it doesn't matter if he's the most talented guy in the world.
Oh, absolutely right. I mean, he has that leadership quality that you and I have talked about, ad nauseum. He is a winner. He knows how to command a locker room, knows how to command a huddle, and those are the kind of players that win for you. You're right. Nick Foles had the respect of that locker room, and you saw what happened because of it. And I think Jalen still, I think he can have that same kind of impact. You know, I think I happen to think he's a little more talented than maybe some people do, but he has that leadership quality on top of it, and I think that's going to take him really far.
Dave, I want to jump over to another sport that you love because I'm all invested in this week. The PGA Championship. I'm invested. Right. Okay. And I'm not a diehard golf guy like you, but I do watch enough to actually have a working knowledge. You know what I mean? And
okay, sure.
While it's disappointing that Phil is not there, I'm starting to wonder if it might be good that it's not because he's not a distraction. And, when you see that you have Tiger and Spieth and McIlroy as a pairing on day one, and you look at some of the other pairings for Thursday, I got to tell you, I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm a big Phil fan, and I'm really disappointed on the way everything's unfolded with him. I'm hoping that maybe he can find a way to change his attitude a little bit and come back, and maybe the tour will forgive him or whatever, and he'll be back where he belongs. I'm kind of sad that he's not here, but I can understand that you're right. The distraction factor is probably better off for him and for the championship that he's not there. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, you can't do anything better than star power when you got like you said, Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth in the same pairing. That's just it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, everybody watches Tiger whether he's contending or not. That's just the way. People have often said he doesn't move the needle. He is the needle, and that's definitely true this week too. I mean, I don't think he'll win. I don't think he has any shot at winning. But if he can just make the cut and stay relevant, that's good. That's going to be good for viewers, for fans, for players, for the tour, for everybody.
One of the things that Tiger mentioned this week, Dave, is that, he's feeling more like closer to himself. Uh-huh. And you got to think, the guy almost lost his leg. The Masters was the first time he did that much walking, that much, probably almost any activity, realistically. I mean, just anybody who has ever had an injury in their life, the more you get back to normal, the easier it is to do things. I'm not saying Tiger should go out and win. I'm not the guy who bet $20,000 on Tiger to win this weekend. Although I wouldn't spend 20. Although I if I had 20,000, I wouldn't bet on anything. Honestly, I'd probably use it to do other things like pay bills. But that's just me. The point is that I just think that Tiger, there's a potential that he's going to be walking around and people are still going to be interested Saturday, Sunday.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he made the cut in the Masters, and I think he'll make the cut this week. If he can say he gets in the top 20, that's progress. Maybe shoot a couple rounds in the 60s. That would be progress as well. I just don't know that I think his time has passed though, as far as contending. There are so many good players there now, and they're just more and more join the tour every year. Guys who can just hit the ball 350 and incredible short games, and I guess the biggest factor is that nobody's scared of Tiger anymore. He doesn't have that intimidation factor the way, say, Mike Tyson did in his prime too, where guys just knew they were going to get beat before they even went out there. But that's not there anymore. These guys aren't afraid of him. And I mean, it'd be great if he could win again, but I think just the fact that he's out there enjoying himself again, loving golf again, playing well, I think that should be enough.
Now, the favorite at the books is Scotty Scheffler. Mm-hmm. The second largest bet that's been made so far is on Jon Rahm to win. Someone threw $5,000 on him to win. So, ironically, Rahm and Scheffler are both in the same pairing on Thursday. Right. Kind of funny how that all adds up. What are your thoughts on Scheffler and Rahm in this tournament?
Well, I just got back from the Borgata as we speak, and okay. I bet 5 guys, and which I always do, and Scotty and Jon Rahm were 2 of my 5, or 6. Maybe I bet 6. I don't remember. So, but yeah, I mean, Scotty's #1 player in the world for a reason, and he's it's really tough to go against him. I'm always a big John Rahm fan, only because he went to Arizona State like my son, but and he's a player too. So, I mean, a very good player. So, I think, but those two probably have there's probably like 10 guys that have a realistic shot at this. I don't think there's any like odds-on favorite, but if I were going to go with one, it would be Scheffler.
My only problem with Scheffler is that there's a part of me that wonders, is there a point in this tournament where he's just like, he maybe gets a little too high on himself? Like, he hasn't been doing this. Like, it's not like he's like some like guy who's been on the PGA Tour for over a decade kind of thing and winning all the time. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not sure where you're talking. I'm not sure where you're going.
I just don't know. Like, does he, I just don't know. Is he the kind of guy, like, I don't know what he's made of yet. Like, I know he's a winner, but I don't know. He only has like the one major, right?
Yeah. I mean, he struggled for a long time. Grinder, I guess is the best way to put it, until this year. He's won 4 times, I believe, this season already, including the Masters. The Masters really showed me a lot about who he is as a competitor. I mean, he faced down Cameron Smith. Smith made a big run at him, and on the final on Sunday, Scheffler didn't wilt, didn't panic, didn't he maintained his composure, has a very strong will to win. I don't think like the outside factors. I don't, if he doesn't, if he struggles a little bit, I don't think that'll affect him. I think he'll fight back.
All right, gotcha. All right, before I let you go, Dave, one more thing about the PGA.
Sure.
So Brooks Koepka was late for media day, and he threw his putting coach under the bus for it. He blamed him. Now, I had said that I thought it was weak of Koepka to blame his putting coach for, why he was late for media day. I just don't. I'm like, come on, man. Like, okay, so you're basically, for those who don't know the story, apparently Koepka is putting coach. We're going to head in. His putting coach locked the keys in the running car, basically. And that's why they were an hour. That's why he was an hour late for the media presser. Like, dude, just call an Uber and just show up. Tell your guy, hey, man, I'll get you later. You figure this out. That's like, come on, Koepka.
Yeah, I'm with you there. You're a professional. You're getting paid a lot of money to do what you do. You have obligations to fulfill with this stuff, and I'm with you there. He should have found a way to be there on time. I mean, there's a lot of people that are curious as to what he has to say about things, and you have to be a professional and find a way to fulfill your obligations. I'm with you there.
I mean, it's a funny story. Don't get me wrong.
It is.
But it's like when they asked him about it at the presser, he was just like, he just threw his putting coach, Jeff Pierce, right under the bus. And I was like, geez, man, like, if that's the case, you should have just done it on your own. Like, listen, what's the old saying? Don't depend on somebody else. Do something you can do yourself, kind of thing. I don't know. He's
a funny guy, but he's kind of arrogant too. He kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why, but like, I guess this comment about the beer was supposed to be funny. People were complaining about spending $12 for a beer at the tournament. He's like, you buy enough beers, you're not gonna worry about it. Basically, if you get drunk, you don't care what you're gonna pay.
Right.
But it was a funny line. But I don't know. He's not one of my favorites.
I know DeChambeau is not going to play in the tournament. He's because of the wrist issue. Who's more arrogant then, Koepka or DeChambeau?
Oh boy, that's really tough. I'll say Sergio Garcia. How about
that? Is there a prop bet somewhere? Can we make a bet that Sergio complains about something during this tournament?
Yeah, you make some money there. That's for sure.
I mean, that video is still circulating online of him yelling at the official and cussing him out. I mean,
yeah, I can't wait to leave this tour. Yeah. He's a piece of work. That's for sure.
It's like, yeah, Sergio, we can't wait for you to leave either. They're probably saying.
Definitely.
Oh my goodness. At Dave Weinberg 19 on Twitter, extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. Dave, always appreciate you jumping on. hopefully one of your bets hits, okay?
Yeah, I hope so. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you next week.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. If I had to pick somebody to win this tournament that's not the favorite, Scheffler, I think it might come out of that Tiger group. There's a part of me that's looking at the way McIlroy played in the Masters and the way Spieth has been playing recently. And it's a part of me that thinks, is there something there that might break out this weekend? You know, sometimes guys watch other guys play and they pick up on tips while they go along and they could use it as the tournament goes on. I mean, man, McIlroy, the way he played on Sunday in the Masters was amazing golf to watch. If someone gave me a wad of money to put on somebody that's not Scheffler, that's not the favorite, I'm thinking Rory. I may be completely wrong on this, but that's kind of how I'm leaning right now. All right, we'll get to your guys' thoughts and comments on the other side. Text board 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Warriors, Mavs tonight on 97.3 ESPN FM, and then Heat Celtics game 2 tomorrow. We got all of the NBA Conference Finals games here on 97.3 ESPN FM. You're home for the Philadelphia Eagles, NFL primetime games, the NBA playoffs, the Sixers, the Flyers, and PGA coverage this weekend, all here on 97.3 ESPN FM.
The Eastern Conference Finals continue on ESPN Radio.
On the way, Butter! Gabe Vincent from deep.
The Miami Heat stay red hot with a huge Game 1 win at home. Now the Celtics look to respond and get the critical split in Miami before the series heads to Boston. Game 2 of the Celtics and Heat. Coverage begins tomorrow at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Listen to the NBA playoffs exclusively on 97.3 ESPN.
How do you make the most of your land? If you ask the Wrens, who run with us on a John Deere mower, they tell you,
I mow first, then I do all the trimming.
But the Hubbards, who work behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor, would say,
if it's something you want, just go after it and try it.
Then there's the Mosers, who may mention from the seat of their John Deere Gator UTV,
you can't be all work and not play.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a Deere.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get access. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide with deals like our Silver Unlimited plan for just $45 a month and no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for $249, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
Hello, Discover here to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cashback Match. Now to recap and say cashback one more time. We match all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
What dealer wants to approve you if you clear $350 per week?
Who is Matt Blatt Kia?
What dealer will pay off your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth?
Who is Matt Blatt Kia?
Correct. Do you have a job and clear $350 per week? At Matt Blatt Kia in Toms River and Egg Harbor Township, you're virtually approved. Plus, we're overloaded with trades. Even one-owner trades, many with factory warranty. And they must go. To make room for new Kias arriving daily. Just because you don't see your new Kia on the lot doesn't mean you can't be driving it home tomorrow. So bring any trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. And don't forget, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Offers with approved credit through Kia Motors Finance, and all will qualify. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Expires
6/5/2022.
Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Egg Harbor Township. And now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Game Night being brought to you by AC Airport. Plan your summer vacation now. Spirit Airlines offering nonstop flights from Atlantic City International Airport to Boston, Atlanta, San Juan, Miami, and other exciting destinations. Visit spirit.com to schedule your next trip today. Don't forget conference finals. By the way, can I just say about the conference finals? I told you guys the Heat were going to win last night. I haven't heard from the Celtics fan at all since I came on the air today. Just wondering if he's out there. Was it Mark from Ventnor? Listen, I don't think the Celtics are a bad team. I don't hate the Celtics. I know some Sixers fans do, but I don't. I just think that this attitude that Miami is so inferior compared to Boston, that Boston dominated Milwaukee, I just can't vibe with that. Personally, I think the Celtics Heat series is going to go 6 or 7 games. When you look around the Mavs Warriors series, I think that that'll probably go 6 games. You know, to me, I think there's 2 things that we don't evaluate when it comes to sports enough, because we get so hung up on the numbers and the stats and the analytics, and that's experience. If you have the experience of winning, it's a big deal. I know there are some people out there who have completely discounted the NBA bubble, okay? And I don't agree with that opinion, and I never will agree. The NBA bubble was one of the most unique, difficult things anyone has ever had to navigate and deal and experience and win in. And the fact that the Miami Heat got to an NBA Finals in a very challenging environment is a credit to them. And I give them credit for it. And I can't dismiss that experience that they have. The experience that that team got of going through that situation is something they can draw on the rest of their time together. And they got warriors on that team, not the Golden State Warriors. I mean, like warriors of guys who just are so strong-willed, tough-minded. You know, Jimmy Butler and PJ Tucker are dudes that you want on your side in a bar fight or in an alley, in a dark alley. You know what I mean? Those are the guys that you want hanging with you and fighting with you and just, you know, never giving up on you. No offense to Boston, but, you know, when they didn't have Smart and Horford last night, they lost their 2 guys who are the do or die guys last night. But I think Smart will be back in this series. I think that he may even be back for game 2. I don't know what's going on with Horford and the COVID situation. I haven't seen any new updates on that. You know, we haven't had a lot of COVID situations in recent months. So the fact that he is out in COVID protocols feels like a very unique situation. You know, we don't know all the details. You know, I don't know. Is Horford, did he just test positive? How sick is he? You know, we don't know all the details. So, but I think Smart will be back. I'm at least hoping he'll be back for game 2. I want to see this series at full strength. And I want to see Smart out there because I think Smart creates a challenge for Miami that they haven't dealt with this postseason. You know, Miami has not seen a lot of guys like Marcus Smart. To me, Marcus Smart is one of the most unique matchup problems in the league because of how well he plays defense, his intensity, his style of play, the whole 9 yards. So, to me, I just feel like that is a situation that I'm curious to find out. And by the way, let's not forget about the Heat. They're without a starter too. Kyle Lowry, I don't know what's going on with that guy. Kyle Lowry is trying to come back. He wants to come back. He wants to play. But apparently, he's just not right. And even when he did play in the Philadelphia series, it really feels like that, he's just never going to be 100% this entire postseason. And now that Miami, both of their guys who got playing time without Lowry, Vincent and Strus, are both dealing with hamstring strains themselves and are both questionable. I think if Marcus Smart can come back for game 2, that might be a guaranteed win. He's listed as probable. I'd be willing to say right now, with Lowry ruled out for game 2, and if Strus and Vincent, whether they play or not, but the fact that they're both banged up, if Smart can play, I might go Boston for game 2. I know Miami hasn't lost at home yet in this series, but a big part of their win last night was because their perimeter guys really stepped up. Bam Adebayo had a bad game last night. I know the stats don't tell the story, but he kind of looked soft last night. He looked like, maybe he was out the night before partying too much or something. I don't know. But, Hero and Butler and Strus, all those guys kept him in that game, and that's why they won that game last night. And they can't replicate that again and win this series. They need to get a Bam Adebayo going. And there's no Al Horford out there. He has no excuse. I don't care that Robert Williams and Grant Williams are athletes. Bam Adebayo is a freakazoid too. Bam Adebayo is in the post-game presser, showing off his guns and flexing his biceps. It's like, why did you do that during the game, Bam? Come on. I'm going to say that I think the Warriors win the series versus the Mavs. I said last night the Heat win against the Celtics. I think we have a Warriors-Heat series, and I think the Warriors win the title. That's where I'm leaning right now. 609-403-0973. Dan EHC says, Luka Doncic is the Giannis of the Western Conference. He's unstoppable. He's taken his game to another level. He really has. And I think that, there's a part of Luka that wanted to beat the Suns because the Suns passed over him and picked Ayton number 1 overall. I think that a guy like Luka, he's not just talented. I think he's got a little bit of a dark side too. That video where Devin Booker, took the ball away from him and handed it to the ref, and Luka just started cursing under his breath and saying things I can't say on the radio. He had a look on his face like, all right, it's go time. I'm going to kill you now. You know what I mean? There's a part of Luka that's got a lot of a mean streak in him, like Giannis does. And I think you're right. There's a part of him that is similar to Giannis in terms of the fact he's a matchup nightmare, the fact that he's got that intensity, he's got that will to win, he's got that, all or nothing attitude at times. And I like the fact that he's responded to coaching. Jason Kidd challenged him in the media publicly, said, Luka's got to play better defense. Luka's got to do a better job at, helping his teammates be in a position to be successful. Luka took the talent challenge head on and did well with it. People forget that Jason Kidd was a huge part of Giannis's development from this skinny, raw player from Greece to turning into the guy is the Greek freak, the guy who won MVPs. You're seeing Jason Kidd do the same thing with Luka. I'm starting to wonder, is Jason Kidd an underrated head coach? When he first got the head coaching job with the Nets, and it was an awkward situation, and then he kind of forced his way out of town. There's a lot of questions about, his maturity, his ability to be a coach, a guy who had just finished playing. And it seems like between the Milwaukee job and then being an assistant in the Lakers for a couple of years. It feels like Kidd has really found himself as a coach. And while I don't think the Mavs are going to beat the Warriors in this series, I do think the Mavs, with Luka, with Kidd as the coach, they're going to be here for many years to come. Kidd going and playing for the Mavs and now coaching them, I think is a great story in the NBA of the importance of remembering the past, remembering your history. They didn't have to hire Jason Kidd. And I think there were some people out there who would have said maybe Jason Kidd wasn't even the best or the most qualified candidate for the job, but he's certainly been the right man for Luka Doncic in this roster. I mean, look at the games that Jalen Brunson has played. You could argue Brunson's going to make a ton of money this offseason in free agency, and he's going to make that money because, in part, Jason Kidd and that coaching staff have put him in a position to be successful, and he's taken opportunities and run with them. So this is just a wild postseason. I'm looking forward to the game tonight. You could hear the coverage begins at 8:30 p.m. right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Hopefully the Phillies figure some things out. Bryce Harper is not playing for a couple more days, it looks like. I think he's hoping to come back tomorrow to play. Man, this offense looks completely different without him. Of course, as usual, the Phillies will find a way to disappoint us in some way. The pitching staff did their job yesterday. They only allowed 3 runs. You would think with this lineup, they could score 4 runs. Baseball is one of those sports that is absolutely exasperating at times. That's why I'm glad I have other sports to watch too. Did I mention I'm looking forward to this Flames-Oilers series in the NHL playoffs? That series going 7 games. Have a great night, everybody.